What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah, and tonight I am joined by the best beard in the business, Dave.
Ooh, that's a nickname I can take home.
And also joined by Papa James.
What's up? What's up? Does everybody like Jeremiah's gold?
Come on, man. You're just jumping right into it.
Rocking the bling.
Welcome back to the podcast, James. Hey, everybody. Doesn't Jeremiah look like an idiot?
James, I was telling Jeremiah earlier that you're like the papa who goes out for cigarettes and disappears, and then you come back 10 years later with gas station toys.
And another family.
Where's your other podcast, James?
These are your brothers and sisters.
James is like, have you guys ever heard of This American Life? I went and started This American Life. It's caught on a bit. I'm calling you from the yacht. Actually, would you like a yacht, James, or would you hate a yacht?
I wouldn't mind a yacht. I think I'd probably get claustrophobic after a while.
On a yacht?
Yeah.
Not like a yacht. Like a yacht.
Yeah, but I need to wander. I need to drive around and...
Well, that's the nice thing about a yacht. You can just go other places. But I guess you can't get off the yacht unless you bring another boat with you or you stop places. But then you're still on the open ocean. There's nothing to see. Hopefully. Hopefully. Is that a weird phobia we don't know about?
I mean, the ocean is kind of bullshit, so.
You're not wrong. You guys hear about them hurricanes? The gall.
But let's get into the rigmarole. You can watch the podcast live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/casualshenanigans and youtube.com/germgaming. But if you can't come out and watch it live and hang out with the chat, most of you are pretty cool, you can catch it later on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play stuff, the one episode that got posted to Spotify, other podcast services of your choice. I probably have really done a poor job of submitting that to a bunch of different places. But you
know, Jeremiah, like everyone in the chat's going, wait, who's not cool? Oh, it's me, isn't it? Like, is it me? Everyone who's in the chat right now is really concerned.
Should we have a Bandcamp or a SoundCloud? Is that something we should be doing as a podcast?
I heard SoundCloud is like in dire straits.
So we should help them. You're saying like they need some gets. They need some
with our free podcast. Yeah, let's help them out.
if they can't get Taylor, they can get us. All right. You can also follow us on Twitter at casualshenanigans. All right. Let's hop right into it tonight and thank a new Patreon supporter. James, I hope you're ready to do a voice. I'll let you pick what you want to do. No warm-up.
I just came back. Damn.
I mean, you could just do sexy James voice and probably everybody would be okay with that. But we have someone new who pledged to us on the podcast. It used to pay for things like the lights and the mics, but both Dave and I have new mics, so it pays for the lights.
Sell out.
I bought this. Nobody sponsored
me.
I
didn't buy this.
which sucks. Okay, I feel like we'll just get to the Patreon thing in a moment.
We just completely
Patreon paid for that gold. All of Patreon's money paid for that real gold.
24 karat sound dampener.
I'm going to plasti dip this or something. Actually, the only
more
plasti
gold,
dip
really?
Yeah, so the only plasti dip I have is gold.
It does match your wheels. Cool.
But I feel like I'm enough of an audiophile. Like, I would shill hard for a lot of companies. I've tried this with Rode before. I was like, guys, you don't understand. Like, I will say so many nice things about your products because I already use them and I already like them. Ignore the fact that I just switched off of a Rode mic here. It's not personal. But there are so many companies where I wish I could be like, send me your stuff. I'll make so many videos, not shilling for you even really. I just want to make videos with fun audio gear. Like, I just want to play with it and talk about how much I like it. Send me stuff.
Fun audio gear.
You know, it's fine. You don't care.
Don't get me wrong, Jeremiah. This is a great microphone. It's a good upgrade after 5 years. However, once I set it up, I'm like, I'm glad that's done with. And now it's not going to change for another 5 years. That's the goal.
Well, I'm happy. But anyway, Someone new pledged to us on Patreon. It does pay for things like the new short film we're working on. You can go catch the teaser right now on the YouTube channel. It's called Welcome to Average Rainfall National Park. And it stars our very own Ranger Dave. Whoosh, the best beard in the business. All right. So, James, who pledged to support us on Patreon this week?
AP Terminator.
Oh, my.
Thank you, AP Terminator, for pledging to support us on Patreon. It is now time to continue the show like we always do with the main topic. No song for that one.
I'm doing it in time codes, so...
Yeah, I still love how you act like time codes is like, I can't save the child from the burning building.
To focus.
I'm doing time codes.
Numbers are hard.
Also, people listening to this, let me know if you think that my audio is distorting too much, because I feel like I'm hitting that clip a little bit too hard. It's not clipping actually in Audition.
Magazining.
It's clipping on the interface a little bit because I'm loud. But this comes courtesy of a YouTube comment from podcast listener Drewbert. And Drewbert says, well, you know what? I should have brought up his actual comment because I just copied the idea for the actual show. Hold on, let me bring up his comment.
Nailed it.
Really, yeah, prep work would have been better.
I mean, you brought a topic. You're ahead of the rest of us.
Okay. Drewbert says, if you guys need a main topic, how about terrible side quests in great games? For me, it was a princess in distress in The Witcher 3. I hate that goat. Do you guys, is that the side quest where you lead the goat around for a while? Like, doing stupid things in the woods?
Oh, I love that. The dialogue was 100% awesome.
It was funny. The quest itself was stupid, but like the dialogue and just the absurdity of the whole thing, I think The Witcher 3 did a pretty good job of. So yeah, that's tonight's main topic. Stupid side quests in otherwise great games. So I'll kick it off with every single side quest in an RPG where someone needs you to deliver the stupidest thing 100 feet away to someone else. And you're like, really? I stride into town like I got the sword on the back. I've just come in from killing the dragon, and you've been standing here for 10 days and you need somebody to go take this across the village square. I'm thinking of Oblivion in my mind when I talk about this. Like,
I have a lot of Oblivion side quest issues.
all right, let's do it.
I loved Oblivion, like as a game. I actually liked it. I think better than Skyrim.
Same here.
Like as far as exploring and looking around, it was just beautiful and the music was pleasant. But damn, if you have to go into a cave, you're just like, oh, this is going to be like 3 hours getting to the bottom of a cave to pick something up to then fast travel back out. Because they'll have that last little bit at the end that gets you to the front of the cave.
Yeah.
But you just keep going and going. Like their caves were like the size of some games' full levels.
I don't like any quests where you have to pick 300 of some stupid vegetable. I'm also thinking about the Elder Scrolls right now. Any side quest where you have to grind to gather a bunch of resources because the merchants in town or work off some stupid system where they don't have enough stuff. I kind of want the Amazon.
I always
Prime
ignore those.
Yeah. I typically tell that's why most of my builds in games are combat. I'm like, I don't have time to chase down all these stupid ingredients so I can make a potion. Like, give me a better sword and I'll cut them in half faster. Like, that's the plan.
When The Witcher 3 added the option for crafting a sword, where you got the sword merchant, right, and you had the option to craft, if you were missing ingredients, I think it was like a year after the game came out, so it was one of the later patches. They made it so you can hit a button and you just buy all the missing ingredients to make the sword or whatever just from that merchant. It's like, here's what it'll cost to just press the magic button and get what you want. I think for side quests, though, just as like a general category of ones that I usually can't stand, not because of the theme, but just because mechanically they're always broken. Escort side quests.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hate escort.
Oh, we should have just started with that. All my ideas were stupid compared to that.
Because so many times, like I've seen good escort quests before, and when they work well, they can be really, really good. But like, can you imagine being the playtester of someone's escort quest in an RPG, trying to make sure that that thing is going to run right? All the different variables in games that you have to test for. It's like, I would say 80% of the time, an escort quest never goes well. The guy gets stuck on something or gets too far ahead, or he's stuck on your leg like he's tied to it, or he glitches through a wall, or some random encounter shows up and kills him 10 feet away from the objective. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong. We actually did an escort quest, basically in Arma, on Monday, James. It was like a big convoy mission where we had to have this supply truck we had to keep alive. By the end, I don't know who said it. Someone's like, holy crap, like, we lost so many vehicles during this mission. Like, how did this supply truck make it all the way to the end? I'm like, oh, I made it invincible.
Yeah.
Like, nothing could hurt that thing. Like, I knew better. I 100% knew better. We were going to play, an hour of an escort convoy mission and have the truck blow up because someone glitched it into a fence post.
Glitched in a fence post, or in the case of what actually happened starting this mission, people drove into each other at the start because people don't know how to start driving in a line together.
Watching 18 people try and drive like 9 cars in a straight line, I could just hear the in my head. It's like, you're all terrible. Worse than AI drivers. That's saying something for Arma.
The worst part about those quests, the escort quests for me, is your character is usually so much faster
Yes.
than the escort, the person you're escorting. So you're like running up ahead and they're like back. So you go back. You're just like, a couple games you can actually just hold a button and literally walk with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, BioShock Infinite I liked because you run faster at Witcher 3, same thing, and you can watch the other character run faster. No matter how fast you run, the other character just matches you. It's like, why doesn't every single game do that? Like, because in all those escort quests, the person is never traveling the same speed as your low speed or your fast speed. It's never exactly that speed. It's somewhere in between. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like following people in DayZ. You just can never get all your speeds the same. Is your gun put away?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. Was it Resident Evil 4? I think had some truly wretched escort missions where you're like, I kind of want this person just to die. And I can be like, oh no, what happened? I guess me, the competent person, will survive till the end.
What's the famous one from GTA San Andreas? Like, CJ, you just had to follow the train.
Oh yeah. Well, that was a chase mission, but the dumb thing about that one is just it's a really like kind of glitchy area you have to drive through, and like all you have to do is follow the train. This is when GTA had terrible car physics or vehicle physics of any kind. It'd be like trying to follow the train using like Arma vehicle physics or Ghost Recon Beta vehicle physics. Like, yeah, that's all you have to do. Follow the train. Oh, man, side quests. I feel like the GTA games had pretty good side quests all around. Like, I never felt like most of those were really terrible.
What about towing the truck?
Towing the truck.
I actually enjoyed
having
those.
to tow stuff. You did? Of course you did.
I enjoyed those. I stopped for stoplights.
Do you, and are you thinking of GTA 5?
Yeah.
I thought those missions were fine. I never really had any issues with them.
I'm trying to remember. I know that there were some in GTA 5 that annoyed me, but it's probably a good nod to the game that I don't remember them enough to be that annoyed about them, you know? Because I know some of the side missions ended up feeling like someone had created a simple like multiplayer mode just for this side mission that it was very simple mechanically. I wish I had an example that I could remember specifically. Yeah. GTA 5 had some average ones, but it wasn't terrible.
So one of the missions I don't like in games is, and something like a GTA is different, but having to race people. And this isn't typically like car races, but like I'm thinking like old Spider-Man games and a lot of horseback riding races where you're riding as perfectly as you can and they're still getting ahead, and you like hit a stump and you're screwed. So you have to basically start over. Like it never failed to where you'd have to like do it multiple times. Or maybe I just sucked at web slinging and stuff.
Well, no, I was thinking in Spider-Man 2, debatably the best Spider-Man game ever made. We'll see what happens with the new one that Insomniac's working on. But dude, the side quests in that game, like at the time, the way they pitched it was like a living, breathing world where you can do anything as long as it's swinging around in circles and pretending this is a real city with 4 cars. But all the side quests were like, oh,
Stop a fight.
Yeah, stop a fight. Catch the balloon. Stop the crime. Someone's inexplicably hanging off the side of a skyscraper. Why are they even on the roof? Why Like, did a gust of wind blow them over the edge? Like, why are they just hanging on the edge? It doesn't make any sense. But that was all of the side quests. You'd be like, oh no, something's going on in your area. Oh, okay. All right. Another balloon. Cool. Like that's the best uses of Spider-Man's time. It's catching criminals, catching balloons.
Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man had some races that you had to complete. They weren't really side missions, but there were some side missions for that. But like the first one, you have to like pretty much nail perfectly the first time because you're playing against the Human Torch who's flying. Which, come on, that's much faster than swinging.
I Googled this because I was just curious what other people thought. I forgot about this one. The missions in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, we have to fly the RC plane. Do you remember the RC plane? No?
Oh yeah. No, okay, so I always hear how people hate those. Again, I actually enjoyed those.
Oh, man.
They did get tedious by the end, but...
I hated those. People saying the flying song sheet things from Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, I did like 2 of those and then just said nope.
A lot of people are saying the goat mission from The Witcher 3, which is interesting. That I really seem to rub a lot of people wrong. I can appreciate that it's a unique, different mission. If the game had lots of those, like I would definitely think they were pretty stupid.
Yeah, I can see that.
People are mentioning a lot of things from Zelda games, but I've never played any Zelda games enough to know.
Like, you don't play kids games, so it's... Oh, dang it, Joel's not here to squirm.
Simu almost has Breath of the Wild running perfectly. I just need to figure out how am I going to play it without having to pirate it, and then I'm probably going to play Breath of the Wild.
Who said anything from Preston Garvey earlier? That was...
Is that Fallout 4? Wait, is that the guy?
Yeah.
He would automatically
Minutemen.
mark... Yeah, like you would walk by him and you could be like in your inventory and you'd hear him saying something like 100 feet away and then a little map marker would ding and it's like new active quest. Like, no, I do not consent to this side quest.
I hated when the stupid settlements would get attacked. Like I would put so many turrets and guns and no matter what, I'd still have to go there and fight the fight. Like, come on.
Yeah, why are you building up this whole thing to defend itself? Or like, well, there's 10 people. You got to go. None of the people you left behind can do anything. Has to be you, hero of the wastelands.
Bethesda just patched that, I think, like 6 months ago. Finally, it takes your defense rating into account. So it doesn't just not mean anything anymore. Like, they had a defense rating that I think all it did was add to your settlement's happiness is all it was for.
Well, yeah, because I've started playing through it again on the PC.
Yeah.
And I've been using mods because I've already beaten the game, so there's no reason to I'm not going to get the experience again. So I did it with unlimited supplies and stuff. So I had my defense over like 200 for like 10 people. And I still have to go and fight off some super mutants. It's like, come on.
I really wish... I have a mod that helps with this a little bit, but sometimes side quests are annoying because they don't affect the world in the way that is suggested. And actually, let's talk about Mr. Preston Garvey and his never-ending list of settlements that just totally need your help right now and only you. I can't believe that Bethesda added almost nothing in the entire game that shows any progress with the settlement system.
Yeah, even Far Cry got that right.
I have been rebuilding the wasteland for almost 2 years now with ridiculous elements. And for the longest time, up until a few months ago when I found this mod, I would show up at a settlement and a settler would turn to me and go, "Oh, I hope you're one of the good guys." I'm like, "You are living in a apocalyptic suburbia. You have food and clean water. I built this for you." Like, now you're not safe because I'm going to kill you.
So what you're mad about is people aren't respecting you enough.
It's the most hollow lack of progression where they never acknowledge anything that's happening around them. Even when you're having to build things for the couple times you have to in the main quest.
Well, they're still like that in, what's the main town?
Diamond City?
No. I mean, not the city. The
Settlement?
crap. What's the first one you come upon? The one
Sanctuary
where
Hills.
The people still complain in Sanctuary Hills. You're like, seriously?
I had to cut it out of the video, James, because the latest settlement tour, largest one I've ever done, it is literally a city bigger than any of Bethesda's in the actual game. I walked up to Marcy Long halfway through the tour, and she looks at me and she goes, "Well, It's not perfect, but at least we're surviving, or something along those lines. I was like, are you kidding me? Come on, Bethesda.
Again, it's the lack of gratitude. That's what's getting to you. You're like, I put a roof over your head and keep the ghouls at bay, and this is how you repay me.
The most distracting ones, though, were the ones where they're just like, I hope you're one of the good guys. I'm like, no, you've seen me before. I've been here for 30 hours building. Like, you know who I am. But there's actually a mod that it unlocks some like hidden audio files that gives it a little bit of progression, but they still say some pretty dumb stuff sometimes. I hate side quests like that where it gives you this grand task and it seems like it's going to be like, oh, it's going to actually result in something cool, and there's no actual effect on the world at all.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a common criticism of all of the Bethesda games, isn't it?
Yeah. You can do anything in Bethesda's games, basically, but that comes at a price where it's not as deep.
I guess
my
that's
exposure here.
I didn't love the side missions on Mass Effect 1. Like I thought that
I don't even remember the side missions.
you remember
in Mass Effect
you
1.
have to explore these like mostly empty planets.
In the Mako, you just drive around and do
Yeah,
not much.
it just felt very lifeless, and I don't know. I'm glad they got rid of it in 2.
Yeah, Andromeda's been a lot better about that. I keep wanting to.
It's still sitting on my shelf. I launched it once.
I'm honestly enjoying it. Do you have Wildlands, James?
No, I don't.
Okay, I find myself playing Wildlands more because Dave, what do you? I find myself playing Wildlands more because I can like put on a podcast or something. Like it's a good early morning Saturday game, or I don't know. It's easier to just hop into and play for a little bit than Mass Effect is. I think though, I might be starting a Witcher 3 playthrough again sometime soon with all the graphics mods, because now I can run it at 60 FPS 4K maxed out.
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm going to get all the graphics mods and I'm going to settle in for like a 3 or 4 year playthrough to better reflect like the actual time that might have passed in the game if you really play it thoroughly, like actual journeying back and forth, like completely maxing out areas, like meticulously journeying through the world.
Dave is actually doing a 3 to 4 year playthrough on Alien Isolation.
Jeremiah, I'm so proud right now. I have a raging immersion.
All right, wait. So you know what that means? But when you sent me a picture of the gun, all right, James. So he sent me a picture of the pistol yesterday, and I said, "Ooh, it's Diamond City over here." And he asked what that meant.
What does that mean, though?
Hard as diamond, Dave. Diamonds are hard.
Oh, because Diamond City is a location in Fallout. That's the first thing I thought of. It's one of the main cities. Yeah, that's why I was confused.
I had no
thought you were
idea.
making a Fallout reference. I was like, because it said. Now you see why I was confused. Okay.
I guess
okay.
I had no idea that was a thing. Okay. All right. My bad.
It's the main town in Fallout 4. You're like, ah.
All right. You guys ready to move on to what are we playing this week?
I had one more to add.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
I hate RPGs and like kind of action adventure games that add like rhythm sections. You ever done? I was playing Yakuza 0 the other day. I love that game, but you're like doing karaoke and you're having to hit all these buttons on the times.
I don't know if I've ever played
Like
RPG
it's like
that did that.
it's like basically playing like a rhythm game in the middle of something else you're wanting to play. It's like, damn, I just want to get past this. I've done it in a few games. I'm not a big fan of quick time events in general, but
I mean, is anybody?
I think some games do it well. Like the Batman games had some cinematic ones. But the combat in those games are kind of quick time events anyway, so it fit.
All right. It's now time for What Are You Playing This Week? A part of the show where we talk about what we have been playing this week. James, do you want to go first?
I should probably go last because I haven't talked to you guys in a while and I've got a lot of catching up to do.
All right. All right, Dave, let's let you go first. By the way, Dave, what's the count?
24-35. For the time code, or was that something else? I was literally typing it when you asked. I thought that's what you.
Oh, sorry. No, I meant your subscriber account because I was asking what you're playing, and then I realized like most of what you're doing is editing videos at the moment. I checked before the show. It was 99775. Woo!
99780.
Woo!
Yep. So, if you guys wouldn't mind going to youtube.com/evilviking13 and smashing that subscribe. What?
Sorry. Join my Twitter campaign. As soon as Dave gets to the last 10, we start an unsubscribe campaign. And we deprive him.
That's all the rage is review bombing and unsubscribe bombing. That's how we get things done these days.
Well, maybe if you provided more content.
I will cut you so deep.
You can't more than your words already do. Your big boy job. Your big boy job. Your big boy job. I don't know if that's what it actually sounds like, but in my mind it does.
Makes sense.
All right, so what have you been playing, Dave?
Yeah, I was like, wait, where did this start? I finally fulfilled the last bit of my Alien Isolation requirement. I played an hour and almost 20 minutes on Saturday in full VR. That game is so good. Incredible experience. I now am pretty confident I'm not going to beat it, not because it's... Let me finish.
He plays one little hour in VR and he becomes confident he's not going to beat it.
It was incredibly immersive, incredibly scary, but actually what surprised me was I hit the first section of the game that's actually quite difficult, and by the end of my hour and 20-ish minutes, I wasn't as immersed or terrified anymore because I was so determined. It's the medical center. If you guys have played the game, you get to a point in the game where the difficulty just goes insane, and the alien is basically on a tether. It's like one of the first sections where he's constantly in the area. He literally is like on a tether to your leg. And so it's not so much a like, oh man, where's the alien? Is he going to get me? It's like, no, he's pacing back and forth in this one hallway that I have to go through. So I'm going to run to this locker and wait and wait and wait and peek. Is it time? Nope, not yet. I spent, I think, 45 minutes of that hour and 20 minutes just in this one series of hallways. He killed me 5-6 times. After a while, it's just not scary in the same section anymore. Like it's tense still, and the music's still really good. And in VR, it's still very immersive. But it kind of like, Dark Souls, like gets to a point where it's just about the challenge of the game itself. And that surprised me because I had heard it is actually a difficult game. But for me, being so immersed, just creeping through hallways was difficult enough for the longest time because it was just so terrifying. But it just surprised me that once I got to a section where I was stuck in this area with the alien, it actually got to a point where it was like a puzzle game almost. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever actually beat it now because it seems like it's going to be a lot of like grinding through areas where you just kind of have to time things right and get lucky. Because the right near the end, I actually got past a corner. I died twice at this one corner, and finally I just threw a flare a certain direction, missed the throw entirely, and decided, well, he just ran past me. He's gonna hear me as soon as I move, but I'll go for it anyway. And I just half sprinted down the hallway, and it worked. Just like a complete almost like he glitched and didn't see me. I just feel like it's going to be a lot of that, just playing with the game mechanics and seeing what works kind of gameplay. And I'm like, if it took me 7 hours to get to this first difficulty spike, and it took Joel 27 hours to beat the game running at his speed, oh my gosh, this is going to be a 50-hour game for me. So
I would say the reason you're not going to finish it is probably because this is year 3. But that's just me.
Hey, it's still installed. Anyway, that was Alien.
Has it been one computer the whole time, or have you moved installs from one computer to another?
I think I've changed drives and had to re-download it, but it's the same computer. Yeah, 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, Joel is a cruel god. He knew right where to stab. Although he was gracious enough to not make me play 5 hours, seeing it had taken me since March to play my 2 hours. But the last hour was VR. Anyway. In other news, Creation Club mods came out for Fallout 4. They're not great. They're skins, even though Bethesda said it was going to be meaningful DLC. Also, they're patched into the game by default, so even though it's a single-player game, everyone has to download the DLC that you don't own. And the archive files weren't password protected, so you can open up the Creation Kit and just use all the Creation Club stuff. More importantly for most Fallout players, even on consoles now, thanks to modding, is that because these couple of patches have come out to add the Creation Club support, Bethesda has broken a bunch of other mods because they keep patching the game constantly. I just got my game working again. I'm really glad that I had this 4 weeks of the Sanctuary Hills tour to edit because my Fallout hasn't been working for a couple of weeks from all these Creation Club patches. So yeah, I don't think we covered the actual launch of the Creation Club, but not a great start. We'll see where things go from here. Speaking of not a great start, I waxed poetic about Battlefield 1 enough. I have to talk about a couple of the rough bits of this latest DLC launch. The Eastern Front DLC, In the Name of the Tsar, is out. It is the largest Battlefield DLC ever made, like as far as expansion packs go. 2 operations, 6 maps. Every mode is supported, I'm pretty sure. Like every main mode. So like TDM, Frontlines, which was a DLC mode, actually. Rush, all that stuff. It's all there. Mm-hmm. Something like 20 plus new weapons, like 6 new vehicles. It's a huge DLC. It's in the premium 2-week early access until the 19th, and we're basically beta testing it. I played a bunch of it on CTE, and I was disappointed to see that a lot of the balance issues on some of the maps made it into the final build. And apparently, when the DLC went live for everyone to play on the premium main branch of the game for early access, it was running an older version of one of the maps, Albion, than the dev environment was running. Like they launched with like an old version of the map. There's also a bunch of other issues with the DLC. Some servers are having a huge amount of lag. I didn't realize how much... It's like UI lag, which is weird. I didn't realize how much you depend on things like hit markers in combat to just know how you're damaging an enemy. Like, I'll shoot at somebody and be like, wow, I missed all of those. And I'll go back behind cover and start reloading. And then I start getting hit markers and like, damage. And I'm like, what is...
Ooh, that's like the old days of Battlefield 4.
Yeah, it's very odd because like running around and shooting, no one's teleporting, no one's lagging around. It's like, and it feels like the shots are actually hitting. Mm-hmm. It's just your client telling you what's going on is like way delayed sometimes, and that's been really distracting and hard to enjoy. Additionally, DICE added chromatic aberration and film grain to the DLC.
Only on the DLC maps, or like they added it to the game when the DLC launched?
To all the DLC maps between the last versions that we played on the dev environment and launch day, which was like a week later. No one was expecting it, and there's no options to turn it off. And playing it at home, I was like, oh, the chromatic aberration, like that's annoying, but it doesn't look terrible. Then I played a lunch game at work, which is a 1080p screen, and I was like, oh gosh, on the lower res screen, the chromatic aberration, like it's hurting my eyes. Because you have less pixels to work with, so everything is blurred and looks not great. So currently, DICE is working on graphics options to turn off the grain and chromatic aberration. They're working on the server lag. They're working on the map balance issues. And a couple of the assignments to unlock the weapons are really just inane. Like one of them is get... Yeah, here's a great example. One of the weapon unlocks, you have to get 15 kills with a tripwire bomb that the scouts can carry. Like you put the bomb down and put the wire and people run over it and it hurts them. Well, normally that does 75 damage, which means that if someone then shoots that person after your mon got them, you get a kill assist and it counts as a kill. In this patch, they also added perks for your squad, kind of like Battlefield 4 had, like Flak Vest, where it does like 10% less explosion damage, for example. Everyone has it unlocked by default. So now the tripwire bombs only do 72 damage, which means it's impossible to get a kill with them anymore because they don't do enough damage to kill anybody. So what everyone's been doing to unlock this gun that requires the tripwire bombs is you get in someone else's plane, you look for a sniper that's laying down on the enemy team, you parachute down, crawl up behind them, lay the tripwire bomb behind the prone sniper, shoot them twice with your pistol, and when they stand up to turn, the bomb goes off and you actually get a kill. But you have to do that 15 times. It's like no one playtested these like at all. Like it's just like no kind of consult the community for the unlocks. There's no kind of community involvement. We had no idea what these assignments were going to be until they launched. Not great. So yeah, biggest DLC ever, most impressive DLC ever, I'd say. Also, probably the roughest content launch for Battlefield 1 in its life cycle so far, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate. James. What about you?
I've played a lot of random stuff. I went through a kick. I have this thing for like craptastic RPGs, like
I've
not the
noticed every
AAA.
time I see your Steam thing renew on a nightly basis, I'm like, okay.
So I played through Two Worlds 2.
Okay.
That was not a great game, but I still played through it. I played through Demonicon. That was not that great either, but I still enjoyed playing. The original Neverwinter Nights game I've been playing through. The ARPG game or CRPG, I don't know what it is. More recently, I also got Oculus Rift.
Well,
I don't think. Yep. So I've been playing that a little bit. I haven't played in like probably a couple of weeks.
Touch controllers too?
What's that?
The touch controllers too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the summer bundle with, and I bought the third sensor to make room scale. And that was fun, but it's like, all right, cool. I want to play regular games now. I have to crawl under the desk and plug in the HDMI for the camera. For the lenses. So I just don't do it that much. More recently, I played through Resident Evil 7. I actually really enjoyed that. Like, it wasn't scary at all. Have you guys played it?
I've just played a little bit of Joel's.
The demo. I played it like all the way through the demo. Yeah.
So the thing that I really enjoyed about, again, it's not a scary game. I don't think. I mean, there's some things that you're just kind of like, oh crap, I need to get out of here type things. I got scared, honestly, by the shadow of light going through a fan. So the shadow would be moving on the wall, and I would always think, oh man, there's someone over there. And I was like, seriously, I've fallen for this like 6 times now. It's a stupid fan. But what I really liked about it is the exploration of the house. It was like a more mature version of what's that game called? Gone Home.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys played that, but that was just kind of exploring through a house and trying to unfold a story. It was kind of like that in this. But as a teenager and, like early 20s, I would love finding, old abandoned houses and exploring inside of those. And, that was just fun to me. So it felt the way that the house was laid out and stuff. It felt like a place that I could actually go to. So I think that kind of lend itself to the uneasiness that you feel. Again, I don't think it was ever really scary. Like the monsters in it aren't scary to me at all, but it just felt uneasy. And you would see bugs and stuff. You're just like, and you see like decrepit dishes sitting in sinks and stuff. You're like, yeah, I could really go there.
It's unsettling. Like it's not.
Yeah,
You're supposed to feel uneasy when you play it. It's not really like frightening in the traditional sense. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. I don't have it on PS. I don't have PSVR, so I didn't play it in VR. I can imagine that's probably a little more unsettling, even still. Especially there's a part, and this isn't really a spoiler, but you go through a wall and like millipedes start crawling all throughout the walls and like are like getting on you. You're like brushing them away. But I enjoyed that, so I've been playing some of the other Resident Evil games too.
Nice. Have you tried 4 on PC?
I have it on PC. I have not played it. I played it for a couple minutes to see how the controls felt. But I haven't played through it. Is it drastically better than the
No.
GameCube? Really?
Is it better than I remember the GameCube and PS2 versions being? No. Is it actually better? Maybe. Because I played those so long ago. Honestly, I'm not even sure. But the PC version, I think, when it initially launched, had a lot of issues that they seem to have cleared up. But I actually haven't checked into it in years. What else? Is that it?
I'm sure there's more. I'm going through my Steam list.
Do you have PUBG?
Yeah.
We should play some PUBG after this.
PUBG.
I mean, if you guys want to.
Sure.
I want to. Well, speaking of PUBG,
And that's the podcast, guys. We're going to play games.
speaking of PUBG though, I'm ready for some new PUBG maps. I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like, and part of this is my fault, but I feel like I'm getting too samey when I play. Like I've got my strategy that I like and I kind of stick to it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Of course, everything changes while you're in the game and actually playing. but I think I'm ready for some, not just different maps, you know, just the whole, oh, I need more content to enjoy this, but maps that actually make you play in different ways. Like if there was a primarily city-based map or the desert map or something that you can't play in the same way that you play this one, I think that would be interesting because I'd like to see the gameplay mechanics translate to somewhere else. Because it does feel, it's starting to get a little bit of that DayZ feeling of here's the standard route you run, here's the standard plan you do, and then you see how the end game goes. So it's not bad by any stretch, but I think I'm ready for them to start adding extra stuff. I mean, if they stick to the original schedule or stick to the schedule they've talked about most recently, I mean, we're only like 2 months away from launch, right?
That's not the schedule anymore.
Well, I thought they changed it from October to be like sometime this year still.
I thought it was next spring sometime now. Like,
really? Okay, I could have missed something.
with no concrete date. I might be wrong, but I think that they just said basically like it'll be when it's ready, but we're not too far behind from where we thought we would be.
Okay.
Is basically what they were saying.
Fair enough. But that's really all I've played. I mean, my wife's been gone this week. I've been with the new job, and while Dave makes lots of
That
jokes.
look.
While Dave makes lots of jokes, just to clarify for anyone, I've started an additional new job. I've moved to a different position at the same place, but I don't have a replacement for my current job yet. So I am kind of doing 2 jobs at the moment. And in some ways, it's actually a lot better than what I was doing before, and I'm enjoying it more. And then other ways, it's a lot of work. But I'm less stressed than I was. Like I have more emails in my inbox that I haven't responded to, more open projects than I've ever had, more technical pressure on us for the things we're working on, but I feel less stressed than I have earlier this year for a variety of reasons. So overall, like I'd say it's a good thing. But
Because you have more control over the whole process now.
right, like what I can, because I, by my nature,
A more bigger boy
exactly,
job.
I'm the biggest boy. But by my nature, by my nature, I'm a problem solver. I mean, you guys know that about me. Like, I mean, much to my wife's annoyance, like I can't hear a potential problem without trying to think of a solution for, ooh, here's what we could do to fix this. And being able to just own most of that.
Wives love that.
Yeah, they do.
When you, like, try to solve their problems
They don't want
immediately.
someone just to listen to their problems. They want somebody to interrupt them. That's the key. You interrupt them midway through, be like, I already understand exactly how you feel because I'm really good with my feelings as a man, and I know what you should do differently. And they're like,
Here's a set of solutions.
yeah, exactly. And they're like, thanks. But being able to own more of that process where I'm like, it is a little bit weird because I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't actually know everything I'm allowed to do. And part of me has just been like trying stuff to see like, can I just say, no, we're not doing that. Okay, that worked. All right. What else can I get away with? You know, like, I don't know if it's getting away with it so much as I'm technically supposed to be doing this and no one really explained the parameters, but there's been a few things so far where I'm like, well, I'm just going to go with the version that I think is right. We'll see how it goes. And so far it's been working out. So maybe, you know, this might just be imposter syndrome where I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing and I shouldn't be doing this. And maybe it's just, I'm in control of my own
Maybe
destiny
that's
now.
exactly why you're in the position.
It's because I don't know what I'm doing. Thanks, man.
I've seen a lot of that in upper level management.
Oh man, that hurts a lot.
No, not you.
Yeah. So anyway, it's now time to move on to the news.
News time.
All right. So you guys feel free to claim any of these news items that you want. I mean, they don't all have to be me just because I'm the one who did all the work in the prep. But we'll start with probably the biggest news of this week. Nintendo
Jeremiah's
Switch.
big boy job upgrade. Biggest news of the week. Big boy job. I'm done.
Dave, I actually can fire you now. Actually, I don't know if I can or not. That's another one of those.
Jeremiah's first year review, Jeremiah, you were really killing it at the new job. Like, we were just really impressed. Only low point was when you randomly fired Dave. Like, we feel like there wasn't a good explanation.
No, they'd be like, Dave, who? Oh, that's why the maps aren't getting to. Oh, we didn't know what Dave did. You ought to just have a giant red button on your desk, and whenever there's like a problem on one of the servers, we just yell like, Dave, it's time, and you just hit the button like right when it comes back, and people just assume like, well, that's what Dave does. We don't know why we pay him, but
thanks, guys. I'm just a problem solver.
He hits the button when someone needs to hit the button, and everything's keep working. Like, I don't know that we need him, but I'm too scared to get rid of him. So here's a raise.
It's like taking out that one pillar in the house. He's like, I don't know if I should be able to take this out or not. Will the whole house come down?
Like, is this load bearing, or do I just think it is because I've been watching too many TV shows on house renovation? Well, I'm here to cut costs and raise profits. Oh, no, nothing works.
Give me the sledgehammer. It's time.
So anyway, Doom and Wolfenstein 2 are coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I don't own
at 15 FPS.
I don't own a Nintendo Switch, but James, you do. How is performance on most things on the Switch? Are we talking a solid 30?
There's nothing to really
does it
measure
feel like
parity.
it's
I
30?
mean, yeah. I mean, like the games that are on there are 30, but Bomberman and Snipper Clips, and we'll see when Mario comes out how fast that runs.
Is a vasectomy game?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so Doom is coming to Switch this holiday season. Also,
that was a big boy joke, everybody.
Doom is coming to the Switch this holiday season around the same time that Skyrim comes to the Switch. Bethesda's killing it. Wolfenstein 2 will be coming sometime next year. That's awesome. I mean, not that the
I'm
Switch
impressed
was
that they got
doing
those
hard.
on there.
Yeah, like I'm impressed. That's a definite, like, this is a real AAA game that's coming out. Now, multiplayer will not be on the cartridge for Doom. You're going to have to download the multiplayer. So you might need to get like an expansion card at some point. But that's cool. Like, I don't own a Switch, not planning on getting a Switch, but let me know how Doom is, James.
Unusual, but
I will not be buying it on there. But
Oh, okay. Why is that?
and I don't know that you can rent it at Redbox. I don't know if this little disc will ever fit in cases. So
Wait, can you rent Switch games from Redbox?
no, I don't know that they'll ever get to that either. And I'm not going to rent it from GameFly. Because I could run a GameFly out of my house.
is it time for a Switch Smasher? The Tongue Twister Edition? Switch Smasher Pro?
All you have to do is get Cemu and pirate everything. So speaking of the Switch was the best-selling console in August. It's been the best-selling console in 4 out of the 6 months it's been on sale.
That's because they had stock in August.
Yeah, that helps.
They finally started showing up in stores.
Did you see that they say they're going to ship more Super SNESs or more
NESs.
Super NES Classics, whatever they're called? They say they're going to ship more of those on the first day than they did all of the NES Classics.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and then
So there's rumors that they're going to be reproducing the NES Classic Edition next year too.
I guess they want to create this whole like forced scarcity or whatever, but
Well, now that the Switch is out and doing well,
no, I know, but
I guess they can afford to.
as soon as they were sold out for a month at a time, somebody should have been like, oh, well, let's get the production line up and going. Like, people want to buy this product we make. Let's sell them some, you know? I don't know.
Tell that to Apple. I mean, Nintendo.
But yeah, so congratulations to the Nintendo Switch. Does anybody see anything else on that list they want to do as a news item before I keep going?
Mine's at the bottom, so.
Okay, go for it, Dave.
Oh. All right. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has now banned over 150,000 cheaters.
Now, we don't know how many of those are duplicates of each other, do we?
I would bet a lot of them, like half of them are probably the same people over and over again.
Dave, in the link in the Google Doc, the 0 is like on the next line. So I saw 15,000. I was like, oh, that's not very much.
150,000 out of nowhere. Yeah, they're actually using BattleEye as their anti-cheat, which I thought was pretty interesting. That's the same anti-cheat as DayZ and Arma 3. And DayZ Standalone was, heavily based off of we need to stop the cheating. And it's done a pretty good job of doing that. So BattleEye has moved up in the world for sure. 8,000 banned in the last 24 hours. So that's compared to 25,000 bans in the first 3 months. But the game has grown so exponentially that not only do you have more cheaters, but like Jeremiah was saying, I bet you a lot of these guys are repeat offenders who keep buying cheap accounts. So yeah.
I don't know that you can find it all that cheap. Even if you go to like Kingwin or GTA, it's still in the 30s.
Oh, I think most cheaters use like credit card fraud to get keys. So they'll buy from like a black market or like gray market website where the keys are like $3. And it's like, this is probably not legit, but they don't care because they're going to get banned in a week anyway.
That's fun. That's a fun way to play games.
Now, to do that, though, you have to keep setting up Steam accounts all the time. Like,
Yep.
Doesn't that get annoying? That's what I don't understand. How can you enjoy a game that much that you just create and discard accounts that often? Like, that seems like way too much effort.
Oh, I mean, I don't think any of us would understand any of this, but PC Gamer has a fantastic article. If I can find it, I'll put it in the doc. Basically, they went into the cheaters' forums, their community. They hung out with them. They looked at what makes them tick, and beyond basically going, we don't really get these people. It was pretty eye-opening. Like, the fact that people do play games where when Battlefield 1 came out, people waited for a month to play. Like, guys, when's the cheat coming out? I want to play. The game looks really good. And it was like, all right, cheats out. Let's dive in, guys. Like, what? Like, it's a mentality that I don't understand at all. But this is how people play games. There's a certain percentage, apparently.
So how does 150,000 compare to other games in that kind of genre? You know?
I don't know.
The ratio, to me, sounds similar to what we last heard about DayZ's banned cheaters, where, like, that, was it 10 million active players, or 10 million accounts? How many active players for Battlegrounds right now? Isn't it like, well, it's probably like 800,000, right? Active players?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think DayZ had similar numbers for their banned players. I remember, too, that for a while, a couple of high-profile hack programmers had Twitter accounts and stuff like that and would argue with BattleEye on Twitter and like the devs and make threats. And it's a very weird community, very odd. But yeah, I think it's pretty similar to DayZ because you think about Battlegrounds and DayZ have that similar style to it where it's like a bit more at stake than Battlefield, for example. Mm-hmm. You know, you die in Battlefield, you respawn. There's just more at stake in a longer term game like DayZ or Battlegrounds. I think the incentive to cheat is definitely higher.
But I feel like certain games in that genre have come out and because they haven't banned enough cheaters, that people just give up on the game because it's just like, oh, it's all hackers.
I saw a thread before I unsubscribed to the War Z subreddit years ago where someone's like, do you guys realize that this game is now just a contest of whose hacks are better? And he posted videos of people playing War Z with hacks, fighting other hackers, like seeing whose aimbot was faster. And it's just like, what are you guys even doing? That is my news.
Cool. Next bit of news. Bruce Straley has left Naughty Dog. If anybody doesn't know who that is, Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann co-created The Last of Us and Uncharted 4. They're like two of the most influential people at Naughty Dog. He took an extensive sabbatical, and he says, after heading up 3 extremely demanding projects and taking some extended time away from the office, I found my energy focusing in other directions, and I slowly realized this was the signal that it's time to move on. And this is after they announced that he would not be co-directing The Last of Us 2 with Neil Druckmann. He's worked there for almost 18 years. So he's definitely part of what made Naughty Dog one of the best studios in the business, although apparently the crunch time for their games has been pretty incredible. Have you guys heard about that new book by Jason Schreier, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels? Mm-mm. It's supposed to be a very, very interesting look into the behind the scenes of a lot of the production of games. So I'm planning on grabbing that.
I can imagine, though, his job, because Naughty Dog went from making not so intensive games to like epics.
Yeah.
I can imagine just you get to a point where you want to have like quick wins in your career versus like, all right, here's another 2-year project, 3-year project. We're going to start.
Yeah. But all the best wishes to them. They help make some awesome games. Speaking of awesome games, Blizzard says fighting toxic behavior is slowing down Overwatch updates. So are you part of the people that are like, oh, this game doesn't have enough content? Why aren't they making enough content? If you're sick and tired of all the times we've talked about this in the podcast recently. About content. But Overwatch has issues with toxic players, and Blizzard says it's trying to improve player behavior so people get along with each other better. But according to the game director, Jeff Kaplan, talking to Kotaku, those efforts are taking a toll on actually making stuff for the game. So Jeff Kaplan says, we want to make new maps, we want to make new heroes, we want to make animated shorts, but we've been put in this weird position where we're spending a tremendous amount of time and resources punishing people and trying to make people behave better. He said, I wish we could take the time we've put into having reporting on console and have put that towards a match history system or a replay system instead, he said. It was the exact same people that had to work on both who got rerouted to work on the other. The bad behavior is not just ruining the experience for one another, but the bad behavior is also making the game progress at a much slower rate.
How do you, if you have map developers and graphic artists, how are they squashing stuff?
My assumption is like the people who
unless they're contracted.
Well, my assumption is the people who are like making the reporting system are the people who would be developing like the replay system or something. The stuff they mentioned, like I'm assuming they could make like new skins and stuff. Yeah, it doesn't make 100% sense. Like there wouldn't be some overlap. Like DayZ's engine has been languishing for years while they've been cranking out item after item after item. Like there's an obvious disconnect between which parts of the teams work on what. But yeah, I mean, either this is an excuse for them just trying to get away with not making a bunch of content, or it's real, or it's a mixture of both. And I tend to think it's real just because they sound pretty fed up by this. Like they don't sound like they're trying to dodge any responsibility. They sound pretty fed up that they've made a great game that people just won't like chill on.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with any of what goes on with Overwatch. I bought it, but I bought it for my son. Mm-hmm. Like he loves playing it. But what kind of stuff is happening with Overwatch?
It's just people like griefing each other, trolling each other, abusing, like harassing each other, cheating, like all that. It's the behavior.
It has
in games.
In-game voice chat, and I've seen some really awful in-game voice chat clips. Like it's just a very toxic community from what I've seen now.
Can it be turned off? Just out of curiosity.
Maybe. I would bet you could.
I mean, could they turn it off?
I don't know. That's interesting.
I mean,
because you don't want to ruin the experience for all the people who are cooperating, which is probably more of the people are getting along than not. It's just what percentage tips the balance into this is frustrating for a lot of people, you know? I don't know. It's interesting, though. I thought it was interesting. Like, I don't really play Overwatch, so I don't know for sure, but it seems very plausible that would be frustrating.
Yeah, but to say they have no resources basically to do any other further development in the game.
It's probably an exaggeration.
Probably is. They didn't say no resources, to be clear. They said it's slowing down progress on the other stuff because people who are working on one who would have worked on the new features are having to work on this other stuff. They didn't say everybody. They just said people. So it could be an excuse for them missing deadlines. Who knows? But again, I tend to believe them because most people don't come out and say stuff like this. Most people don't come out and go like, well, if the community would just suck less, we could make stuff. Like, come on, guys. But
is that DayZ's excuse? We're taking 6 years.
Last bit of news, talking about content. This is really low-hanging fruit here. Assassin's Creed Origins has so many different pre-order options. IGN wrote up a guide, and we're going to go through it. So, of course, there is the base game for $60. Okay? Base game, $60. Everybody understands that one, right? Okay? Then there is the Assassin's Creed Origins Deluxe Edition, which includes All these
For $10 additional dollars.
Yep, which includes the following in-game items, along with a bonus mission if you pre-order. It includes a naval mission, Ambush at Sea, the Eye of Apep, a legendary snake shield, a desert cobra outfit, a Fang's horse companion, 3 bonus ability points, and a Fang sickle sword. So a couple little digital things for $10.
I hate that so much.
But now, you move up to the Assassin's Creed Origins Gold Edition, which is $100, and it's the same thing as the Deluxe Edition, but it does include the Season Pass for $30, which is $10 less than the standard Season Pass. I don't know why you'd buy a version of the game that includes a discount on the Season Pass when the regular game hasn't even released yet. You don't even know if it's good, but that's your money, and you can spend it however you want.
Because CD Projekt Red made it?
They didn't make this, though. But
I'm saying if they had made this, I would do that.
Well, it's a little bit different in that case. But Assassin's Creed Origins Gold Steelbook Edition increases $10 from the Gold Edition. It has all the digital goodies and the Season Pass, along with a fancy Steelbook case and copy of the game. So I would be more inclined to go with that one. I don't really get the whole steel case thing, but if you're going to get a collectible version of the game, spend $10 more and get the collectible case, I guess. I don't know. So comparing the different editions, we have the standard, deluxe, gold, and gold steelbook. So the gold steelbook also has a physical version of the game. Oh, no.
You missed 2.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
Just comparing. Okay.
So which do you get? Standard, deluxe, gold digital, or gold steelbook? Wait, what's this?
Sale.
What's this?
Pre-owned.
Does the article keep scrolling? Oh.
Jeremiah, what if I want to get physical with my loot?
There's so many editions they had to have an intermission.
Moving on to the Assassin's Creed Origin God's Collector's Edition.
Well, that's a new one.
$120. Okay.
$10 more than the last.
Right. It includes all the digital stuff from the deluxe edition, all with a variety of physical bonuses, but it does not include the season pass. But it comes with a deluxe edition of the game, a printed map, an art book, an official soundtrack, a 10-inch figurine of the main character, and then all the digital stuff. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, it seems kind of weird. I'm not getting the season pass.
It's actually hard to track all this.
Is there a Dawn of the Creed Collector's Edition? That might be what you're wondering. The answer is yes. Yes, there is. So for $160, it comes with a different, more elaborate figurine of the main character of the game. It starts with the Steelbook Gold Edition. So just to fill everyone in, remind everybody, that's the $110 version, which has the season pass. To add on to the Steel Gold Book Edition, you get the printed map, the art book, the official soundtrack, the art cards, a 15-inch figurine of the main character, an amulet, and all the digital goodies. Now, I know what you're thinking. All of these are less than $200. How can I show how much I love Assassin's Creed? Well, there's the Assassin's Creed Origins Dawn of the Creed Legendary Collector's Neckbeard Edition for $800.
It actually comes with a free hit on a text or something if you want.
$100.
I honestly don't know what's worse, the ridiculous price or that massive name. Assassin's Creed Origins Dawn of the Creed Collector's Edition.
Now,
You forgot legendary.
settle in, kids.
You missed a word, Dave.
All right. So,
Oh my gosh, I did.
so this comes with 2 steelbook cases, a high-end Bayek and Senyu figurine. I think one of those is the name of the eagle. That's 28.7 inches tall. It comes with the gold edition, not the gold deluxe or whatever, the gold edition, which has the season pass, the digital deluxe pack, and one additional mission. Ooh. It comes with the world map with a hand-drawn artistic representation and a premium collector's case, steelbook, art book, a replica of the eagle skull amulet, 4 15 by 11 inch lithographs, and an official game soundtrack for, I'm sorry, just in case you mixed it, $800. $100 for the price of 13 regular games. You can get a statue and some artwork and an amulet plus a game.
I love that you can only buy that from Ubisoft. You can't buy it in any of the other stores.
And
then, if you're looking down at the bottom of the retailers,
probably because no retailer wants to stock that.
Like, yeah,
holding
margin's
stock.
not there.
Shane in the chat is just like, and Joel's probably going to buy 2 of them, one for PS4 and one for PC.
I mean, for that money, I would rather get the Assassin's Creed Origins Super Ultra Legendary Xbox One X Edition, which comes like a branded version of the console, which would only leave you $300 for the game and all of its goodies.
I have 2 problems with this.
Only 2? I had at least 6.
Yeah, I read off like 6 or 7 versions.
It's not even about the items itself so much as one nitpick. It bothers me that they're describing the map as hand-drawn. It's hand-drawn style. It's a print. Like,
right, yeah, it's not an actual hand-drawn map.
It's a little bit deceptive, I think. Someone's be like, "Oh, it's like the developers are hand-drawing me my collector's map." No, it's a print. But I'm sitting here looking at this list, and the fact that IGN had to pay someone to write an article, which I'm sure they're making money off the article of like to make the guide. But I'm like, how many marketing people had a salary paid for this year to put just which edition is which together?
Right,
like that's a huge amount of man hours.
The names are so stupid, and there's so many different versions that are so close to each other, and then the $640 leap between the second to the top and the top tier, like it. I'll be honest, I'm not seeing an extra $600 of anything in this top tier one. Like, yeah. I could see this one being maybe $250. I wouldn't buy it, but if you really, really love Assassin's Creed, maybe. But they just muddy up all the options on the lower end. Like, it ought to be the regular version, the version that comes with all the digital crap and the season pass, and then like the Ultra Collector's Edition and maybe one in between. Like,
I honestly, the price doesn't bother me too much, just because something I've seen in like the last 5 years, as far as merchandise goes, is that there is apparently a market for some very high-end statues and collectibles. The Witcher statues that are coming out, there's a new set of them coming out next spring that are like $700, and they're like 40 inches tall, and they are actually hand painted and stuff like that. And it's that's beyond me. Like, I was very happy with my $22 statues for my loot shelf. Like, that's more than enough immersion and loot for me. But I think game companies are just going like, this is a mainstream entertainment industry now. People want the collectibles, and a lot of these are nerds with money, because people are obviously buying this stuff. Because just, again, going back to the Witcher collectibles, that statue set that I have is one of, I think, 4 different ones that different companies have made now, like licensed sets, and each one has like a different price point. There's the $20 ones, there's the $80 ones, there's the $200 ones, and next year there's the $800 ones, or $700, or whatever it's going to be. There's obviously a market. I mean, to be honest, guys, I would much rather some very happy nerd, much like ourselves, spend his well-earned money on a pretty awesome set of collectibles like this than on skin gambling or garbage like that. Like,
true. I mean,
you're getting actual stuff here, at least. Can we just have like maybe like one Ultimate Edition and then like season pass, no season pass? Done.
Just sell it separately on the store. I mean, I guess it does market it a little better if you see, oh, look, there's another version of the game. But when there's like 8 versions of a game.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, but that's like Mr. Crutch's Bob mentions the Pip-Boy edition of Fallout 4. See, I think that's something different. Like, that's an iconic collector's edition of a game where you're like, as soon as they announce you can get your own Pip-Boy that your phone works in, James and Joel.
Yeah, it was functional.
Yeah,
at least.
James and Joel just freak out like, holy crap, of course we want to get that. Like, this is just bigger statues and more art books and stuff. Like if I was going to buy a Witcher 3 collector's edition, I want the one that comes with the sword and the medallion, like the swords and the medallion. Like maybe there's a $1,500 version that comes with like the shirt and the armor up top, like That's the type of stuff I'd want.
But would you pay in advance for a character figure or something of a game you haven't played yet, even though it's based on a series?
I mean, I wouldn't pay in advance for any of it, but
Of course, you don't do pre-orders, but I mean,
I'd rather.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have to play the game to get to know the characters that they're giving you statues
Right, that's
correct?
another thing. Like, you get a statue of the character in the game. Like, it's not Ezio, someone you've played with in other games before. It's this new character who you might not like.
I mean, it's a safe bet if you buy Geralt before Witcher 3 comes out, if you've played Witcher 1 and 2.
Yeah, because if the game's bad, you're like, well, I can just remember the good ones.
Yeah.
But this is an entirely new character. That's a good point, James. It's an entirely new character, entirely new game. I don't know.
I mean, the statue for Battlefield 1, I mean, we all remember the iconic character from Battlefield 1, right? Like, what's his name?
The guy who dies in the intro. Spoilers.
No. I'm leaning my camera here. He survives in the intro.
You look like a little kid. No.
He's the only one that survives in the intro. Thank you, Jeremiah. But yeah, like, it's a cool statue, but I'm glad that Amazon had that option where I got it on clearance because it didn't come with a game for $40 shipped for the whole collector set, like 3 months after the game came out. I want to see more of that. That's just my mustache talking. This is great.
It's a Mr. Robot camera, like, framing right there.
I was going to say something else to you.
I think you can pan down now. I think you're good.
Yeah.
It's now time.
Sorry, I remember the thing I was going to say. You mentioned the pre-order, and James mentioned the Pip-Boy. And actually, I remembered I was very glad that I didn't order the Pip-Boy edition by the end because that was disappointing. That was so cheap. Like,
I didn't end up buying it.
Yeah,
I had it in my cart with when Best Buy had the 20% off, new games. They were taking 20% off that edition.
That's pretty good.
I was like, man. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do anything with it.
Now,
so how much was that? I want to do the math real quick, Jeremiah. It was like what, $400 almost, right?
I think so. Yeah.
No, wait, the Pip-Boy edition?
I don't remember.
Maybe it was $250.
No, it was like 150. It was like 150. No, 120.
Oh, that's reasonable. Okay, never mind then. I was gonna say, if it was a couple $100 extra for that edition, you could have someone on Etsy make you like a cool phone holder thing that looks like a Pip-Boy that would be like brushed metal or something that would look all cool. So much of the loot is super manufactured, just plastic garbage, which is why I think stuff like the Witcher figurines, $100 extra. Yeah, see, that's I would expect cheap plastic for that much extra. But I think that's why there's a market for stuff like the expensive figurines, is because for the mass-produced stuff, you've got to pay to have the quality. Like anything below that, maybe not anything below that, but a lot of stuff below that is just going to be cheap.
Yeah.
So it's like pay $100 extra for plastic garbage that you're gonna not care about, like Joel left his on his desk after 2 weeks, or pay maybe not $800, pay $400 for a really cool 30-inch statue that's like really high quality and it's artwork. And if you've got a studio or something that you could display it in, that could be something that you get a lot more value of in the long run.
Yeah. It's now time for mail time.
Mail time.
You can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be a part of the show, just like Eric does. Eric, or Desert Eagle, in the chat. I almost said in the trash. I don't know why.
Whoa.
What do you think of our viewers?
Well, he's part of the Armor group, too. But he writes into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be part of the show, just like you can, and says, lately, I've been listening to your old podcast while at work. I recently heard a podcast where members of the group spoke about shows and books and games that when they'd finished them, they had a feeling of loss or confusion as to what was next. While listening, I started to think about some of the things I came across that affected me and left me with those feelings. A few games that I've had a hard time seeing end would be Gears of War and Halo. Although both series still have sequels or other games being made, part of me feels like they've actually come to an end. I agree there. Since Bungie left, Halo's story isn't what it once was, but Gears is a little different. In Gears, we've seen the main character, Marcus Phoenix, settle down to a new life in a place we've been put into the shoes of his son, James Dominic Phoenix. Even though I can play the game's new titles as they release, I feel as if the story I grew up hearing, playing, or living has drawn to its conclusion, and as a result, I've lost some of my interest and excitement. I think that's good.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, Dave, if there was
Already ended in your heart.
if there was a Witcher 4 game, would you want it to be Geralt? No spoilers for the End of Blood and Wine, but everybody who knows. Would you want it to be Geralt, or would you want it to be Ciri with Geralt just like a side character you see every once in a while?
I think I would trust CDPR to do a few more Geralt games, but I'd also be very okay with them not doing that. I think
for a lot of people, this is their first Witcher game.
It is, yeah. I mean, for sure.
But it would almost be really cool if they had a transition series of games where Geralt is still, like, it's in that same time period. Geralt is out there. Maybe you meet him. Like, that could be like a really special, moment in a game if you meet Geralt of Rivia. But they actually kind of open things up for their own stories, down the road. I think they could definitely do either one easily. What
fighting wise, I actually enjoyed playing Ciri more than I think I enjoyed playing Geralt.
Really?
Well, she's fun. She's fun, I think, for short periods of time, but she's so overpowered. Do you think you'd enjoy her for a full game?
Maybe they could find ways to make it a little tougher.
If you were asking though, Jeremiah, like what I would want specifically, I think I'm so happy with the 3 games and the end of the story that I think for me personally, I want them to move on just because the ending was so good. Like, don't mess with it. Just keep on rolling. It's just so good.
How much would you die inside if they did a reboot?
Of
the whole series.
James, did you
a lot?
Did you see the video? Did you see the video, like the 10-year anniversary of The Witcher video?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, to me, no exaggeration, that would have been like seeing a reunion with the Battlestar Galactica cast, which I guess is equally nerdy, so maybe no exaggeration is necessary. But where, like, just seeing that, I was like, oh, come on. Oh, why are you doing this to me? So, moving on to the comment of the week. Scrubby left a comment on a recent podcast and said, guys, I just wanted to stop by and let you know how much I really do still enjoy the podcasts. I listen literally every day, some episodes repeated or revisited, and I only hope for more to come. Your podcast is something I can put on in the morning and listen to all day with my work, and it puts a smile on my face. I'll be listening to this episode in the AM. Keep it up. As long as you guys enjoy making the podcast, I'll be here to listen. Stay casual. Thanks, man.
Most positive comment of the week ever, possibly?
Well, that's why I saw it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, we ought to just,
Yeah.
This guy deserves it.
Stuck out like a diamond in the rough.
Also, we were talking to James, no pressure to reply, but did you watch episode 200 by any chance?
Yeah, I did.
So it was from when we were talking about, like, we make the podcast because we enjoy hanging out, and it feels like we're hanging out and talking with friends every week, and that's why we do the show. Not necessarily because we need to bring you the latest video game news you could read on a blog every week. But, a decent Twitter account could do everything we do as far as actual reporting. But yeah.
It's called plagiarism, Jeremiah.
But you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it down tonight?
I'm good.
James?
My son started playing Half-Life 2.
Really?
I'm very proud.
Really?
He's loving it. Yeah, he loves it.
Now,
I'm trying to remember if there's anything that's like...
There isn't. There's like no language. There's no sex.
Yeah, back in the day, it was just like that just wasn't in
there
a lot of games. Ones that cause controversy.
Yeah, there might be some language.
But now you can play games and like you hear F-bombs dropped all the time.
Well, I feel like now the line is maybe this is a topic for another day. I feel like an M-rated game is just average these days. Like everything we play is M-rated. And back in the day, it used to feel like an M-rated game was like something unique or different. And like, I think every single thing I play is M-rated now. Is Battlegrounds M? It's not rated yet, is it?
Yeah. It's
well, even the T for teen games can be a little sketchy at times. For a kid my son's age. But yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, Battlegrounds is rated M for mature. I think you can get provisional ratings now. Like even before you go into early access, you can have a rating already ready to go.
Cool.
Intense violence, blood and gore. What about all the screechers? It's all just covered by the tagline. What is it? Multiplayer experience may vary. Yeah, it can vary.
Oh, I did want to add that my son is doing something that Ultra Grunt has never done, playing Half-Life 2. Just want to rub that in. Rub that in.
Shots fired.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out, being part of the show. As always, you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be a part of the show. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can pledge money to us on Patreon. We do appreciate it. You can find us on podcast services of your choice. But most importantly, you can come out, check in on a live stream, or leave a comment on a video and interact with the community. We love talking to you guys. And as always, and until next time, slap a seal.